So, Durgesh, would you like to share more information about yourself with the attendees?
Sure, definitely. Hey, hi
Oh,
everyone. This is Durgesh this side. I'm been in Salesforce ecosystem since last 9 years or so. Maybe some of you might have seen in a couple of Delhi user group sessions initially, probably like 3 years back. Um, uh, uh, I've been part of Salesforce since last almost 2.5 years or 3 years so far. I started as a solution architect, and in this whole journey of Salesforce learnings with me so far, I started as a developer, become an architect, and recently moved to a new team where I take care of evangelism part for our partners. So I'm already doing a lot of Heroku enablement among a partner group, and I thought that maybe why not to share this whole details with all of you as well, right? So that's pretty much about me. I will keep on sharing more details about myself when I will covering the demo part, but yeah, that's pretty much.
thank you so much, Durgesh, for such an amazing information. Okay, just a minute. Before moving further, we urge everyone to share your love for the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group initiatives on social media channels with the following hashtags, like on Twitter @New Delhi SFDCDUG, and other initiatives which we are running, it's like Talent Central, Mentorship Central. So we are doing a request for you. All right, we are doing various initiatives. We came into existence in February 2016. These are the Twitter handles, which is twitter.com/New Delhi SFDCDUG. You can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn also. Okay. We are doing several initiatives in which we have Impact Salesforce Saturday, which is a series of online Salesforce Saturday sessions where we run knowledge sharing sessions. Previously, it was known as Virtual Salesforce Saturday, but 2 years ago, it was rebranded to Impact Salesforce Saturday. You can find all of our previous sessions in the link which I've given below, and all of our upcoming sessions link is also given in that. The other initiatives which we are talking about is Talent Central, which we have launched recently, which is a job portal like Naukri.com, Monster.com, or we can say Indeed.com. The vision of this platform is to connect freshers who is looking to get job in Salesforce ecosystem to connect with the HR. So if you are a fresher, we would like to request you to register yourself to the amazing portal, as currently we have more than half of dozens of HR looking at your profile, and we have more than 300 plus freshers already registered on that. So we would like to request you to register yourself as soon as possible. So the link for the portal is talentcentralglobal.com. Okay. The other initiatives which we are running is the Mentorship Central, in which if you are looking for a mentor, like you are a newcomer and you don't know how to start in the Salesforce, how to grow in the Salesforce. So if you are looking for a mentor, you can register as a mentee in the portal. And if you would like to showcase your knowledge, means you would like to share your expertization with the mentees, so you can sign up as a mentor. So by that way, you can connect with each other. Okay, I think over to you, Om.
Okay, thank you, Vishal. Okay. Hello, everyone. Very good morning. Thank you
Let
for joining us.
let
Yeah, I am
let me
sharing my
stop.
screen now.
Yeah, let me stop sharing my screen.
Okay, so I hope my screen is visible now. Can you confirm, Vishal?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, nice. Okay, so yeah, as Vishal introduced, I am Om Prakash, a Salesforce MVP. And with me, we have Durgesh from Salesforce team. Once again, welcome and thank you for joining us. Hi, Durgesh, how are you?
Hi Om, hi everyone.
Yeah,
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 good, good.
it's my pleasure having with you today at this speaking sessions. So welcome. Okay, so our agenda, already you are familiar with the titles of the sessions. We are going to talk about Heroku add-ons and Heroku Connect. And we have a cool demo today. As you can see, we have already expert from Salesforce itself. So you can expect something more today. So moving ahead, we already familiar. All purchasing decisions should be based on the available features and functionalities. Our all session start with this screen. We have our employee facing apps in Salesforce, and we have customer facing apps running on Heroku. We have deployed the application on Heroku. Application is running cool. Now time to enhance our application, give more power to our applications. So keeping the same in mind, we have our Heroku Elements Marketplace. You are in Salesforce, then you know App Exchange is our leading marketplace for the application, components, Flow, and many more, which can be installed in our Salesforce org to support us to give extra visibility, extra enhancement to our Salesforce applications. Similarly, in the Heroku, we have Heroku Element Marketplace, that is our ecosystem for code, tools, and many services which help us to enhance our application very quickly. Heroku Marketplace give us, the ability so we can simply install the tools and our app is supported in every stage, no matter deployment, during development stage and post deployment stage. These elements can be developed by you itself. It is also hosted by various communities, like I can say open source, and many tools are developed by Heroku team itself. Just we need to do, go ahead, explore, and install thousands of elements. Thousands of elements are available. You can install whatever you want. You can also build your own, and you can host the same on the Heroku marketplace. So these elements are Heroku add-ons, Heroku buttons, and Heroku build packs. Let's go quickly for each one, like Heroku buttons. So many of you have already familiar. You go on the GitHub repository of any projects, and there is a button deployed to Heroku. Yeah, that is we are talking here. Heroku buttons, which is a source of some instructions. You click and you deploy it on Heroku very quickly. You can automate the things like during installation, during deployment, which add-ons we need to install. That can be done by that Heroku buttons. We have 1400 plus Heroku buttons you can choose, and you can also create your own. So whenever you need to deploy any open source project, add a Heroku button to that Git repository, and you can deploy. You can also create your own, of course. And suppose today I need to share some app. So for review purpose to Durgesh, I can create a Heroku button. I can share with him. So we'll explore Heroku buttons. Like if I will go to the elements, you can see these are some Heroku buttons. Let me suppose I'm going to click here. You can see deploy to Heroku, or let me go on the GitHub, and on the GitHub the same button deploy to Heroku. When I click, it will redirect to Heroku, and we can quickly deploy from there. We can check the log from here itself. You can see the things like, and when we click deploy, the app will deploy. Moving ahead, we have Heroku build packs. In the previous session, when we deployed our application to Heroku, remember, the lots of things happen in the backend. We don't need to worry for that. Like during deployment, first thing, dependencies you are going to install. Like every app language has some dependencies. So our previous app was in Node.js. So Node.js framework was installed on Heroku. So it will be done by Heroku build packs. So Heroku build packs are basically, source of scripts which take care for the configuration of the runtime environment, compilation of the source code, And we have 8 official languages supported build packs for these languages. And if you see your language, like for example, .NET is not here, so you can create your own build packs, and you can also deploy there so that other can use that build packs. We have over 2,000 of build packs already built by the community. You can choose those as well. So in summarized way, build packs take care for our app compilation things on Heroku. Heroku buttons was to deploy your app in one click from the browser. Heroku build packs is for take care of the compilation thing during deployment. When you deploy from our console, we already saw in previous session. Now we are talking about the Heroku add-ons. Heroku add-ons, as you can say, add-ons, these components are to support us. These components help our applications like data storage. Remember previously we have already provisioned Heroku Postgres database for database purpose, for monitoring purpose, and other purpose like analytics and data processing. We have so many Heroku add-ons. Again, the Heroku add-ons can be developed by us. It is developed by already by Heroku team and many open source contributors. We can go ahead on our Heroku dashboard, and we can simply install the Heroku add-ons from there, and we can also install the Heroku add-ons from our console. So we have 170 plus add-on services in marketplace, and of course you can see regularly its number is going to increase. Simply we need to type Heroku add-ons, create, and then service. Service is just name of Heroku add-ons. So here you can see Heroku add-ons, create, paper trail. So what happened, if you see the log file of our app, like when log is generated, then latest 1500 line is already visible to us by standard logging functionality. Heroku also gave us a service, like we can, of course, log all the log details, not only 1500 lines. So many add-ons are there which help us for this. So for now, paper trail, I have installed the paper trail in this application. So with help of paper trail, we can always check the details log. If I go here and if I type Heroku add-ons, I can see how many Heroku add-ons are installed in my application. So you can see previously we have installed Heroku Postgres, Heroku Connect, and paper trail. I need to check the Heroku paper trail. Okay, simply write open paper trail. It will give a URL, and it will open that URL in browser, and where we can search the log, we can see the log in real time. For example, you can see here, this is paper trail dashboard. And when I refresh our application, that is our application, let me refresh, and I can see logging are here. Once again, refresh. Yep, you can see a started process with implement. All details are here. You can search the log from here. So this is happened with the help of Heroku add-ons. Just visit elements.heroku.com/add-ons, and we'll have add-ons, buttons, and build packs. Let me summarize very quickly. Add-ons, multiple tools available to enhance our applications. Just focus on your logic, your application, and the common things can be done by Heroku add-ons. We have buttons which help us to deploy from the browser with one click. We have build packs which help us to compiling our source code on the Heroku platform and configuring all the dependencies for that applications. Now let's come on our exciting part, another, that's Heroku Connect. So Heroku Connect supports data replication, and it can be, one directional or bidirectional syncs. So in this Heroku Connect concept, what happened, our Salesforce org is source of data. Okay, so we can duplicate the data and schema object of Salesforce in our Heroku Postgres database, and we can sync it like two-way or one-way as per our requirement. Previously, if you attended our session, we also covered data proxies. Like Heroku Connect also help us in exposing the Postgres database with OData, and with help of that OData URL, we can access the Heroku Postgres tables in our Salesforce org without copying it. So we already covered this demo previously. And we discussed, if you're going to this data replication thing, then it's best fit for business to consumer app, where your business is using Salesforce and your client is using application on the Heroku platform. Very cool thing, Heroku Connect has no any limitations for Salesforce API. So you can suggest Heroku Connect to your enterprise customers, and they will love it. And of course, many of enterprise customers are using, and they are loving the cool things. So it's provided very easy configuration, of course, the mapping of Salesforce object to Heroku Postgres table. As I discussed, it can be one-way or two-way. So whenever, just think a requirement, you have to show your Salesforce records in your Heroku application only. That's fine, go with one way. But sometimes it's also required, I'm going to change something on our Heroku application data, then it should be also writable in Salesforce, like two-way, then go with the bidirectional mapping. Let's talk a little more about these things. It supports bidirectional, we already discussed. It supports real time, means no need to wait for few hours, or sometimes it will be real time syncing. It will be totally scalable, no matter you have millions of records, it will be work like very cool. It provides easy, no need to worry for integration. Basically, whenever we hear integration terms, it's really, we understand very well, like how authentication, how call outs, and how JSON parsing thing happens. But here, everything in point and click within minutes. Today we'll love the things, how it's going to happening. And of course, it's powerful because we can use SQL query, not SOQL. We are familiar with SOQL in Salesforce, but here we can run SQL queries against our Postgres data on the Heroku. It will be like you can see, this is our consumer app, and this is our Salesforce. So what happened, as we discussed, we can simply replicate the Salesforce database in consumer app, means on our Heroku application. So you can see here product, contact, and interaction, custom object. These objects are synced, two-way synced. Okay, and case, I don't want to case will sync, so that's fine. Case is in Salesforce, but then these three objects are here in our Heroku application as well. Very easy process, just as you can see. Okay, first time we need to authenticate with Salesforce. Like we say our Heroku application, okay, you need to pick data from this Salesforce org. So authorization happened, then okay, our Salesforce org and Heroku application is connected, we authenticated. Now we need to choose which object you want to access in our Heroku application. So you choose the object, you choose the fields. Sometimes it might possible you are not going to copy all fields here. Something which is required by our Heroku application users that you are going. Then we need to choose the mapping of Salesforce objects and fields. Then you can decide it will be read only or read write both on your our Heroku Connect configuration steps itself. So let me summarize the same thing again here. This is our Salesforce org. Then when we connect and when we map, then similar schema means suppose contact object, then one contact table will be created in our Heroku Postgres database. And here the terminology is one org equal to schema. Then Salesforce object is table in our Heroku Postgres, and Salesforce objects fields are column in the database. Very common, we learn from day first, like our object represents table, right? And fields represent columns. Same thing here. So now time to go ahead and let me open our applications. If you are already attended our previous session, we deployed this application, and this application has some static JSON, means this response were coming from the statics. So now let's go ahead, extend our application with various things. And now I would like to invite Durgesh, or please give us a demo for this.
Awesome. Can you add me as a collaborator into that app?
Awesome. So once again, that's very cool thing. Let me share my screen again very quickly. And since I need to invite Durgesh, so first thing I need to give him app access. He don't have app access, right? So let me go on Heroku dashboard. And here is our application. Go to access. So here, the learning of this talk is, I am going to invite another developer, my manager, or anyone in our team to help me in this application. So go in the application dashboard, application, then access and add collaborator. And now I need to enter the email ID of Durgesh. So Durgesh, can you please quickly text in the chat window so that we copy and paste here?
Sure, or you can just type in it's DDHOOT.
Awesome. Double D.
HOOT.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
fine.
I guess Salesforce, you just need to respell Salesforce.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, no
How can I
worries.
type it wrong? Okay.
All right.
Change it. Now,
Great.
so you can see in my application, Durgesh is collaborator here. So, yep. Now, please share your screen. I'm going to stop.
All right. So let me quickly share my screen here. All right. I guess you all are able to see my screen now.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, hi everyone. Once again, those who have recently joined, just to quickly introduce myself, I'm Durgesh Sood. I'm part of Salesforce team here, and I manage, enablement programs and evangelism things for all of our partners, especially all the global system integrators, whether you are from Deloitte, Accenture, and all the companies. But just to share the fun fact, like I since the time I have started learning Salesforce, I really like this platform a lot. It's probably 9 years back, but since the day I started working on it, I really like, how Salesforce can help anyone, whether you are a business admin, a developer, an architect, to to enrich your learnings, to enrich your scope of things which you can do on this, especially with this a lot of different type of clouds which are there. You can focus on any particular industries, and you can learn a lot of things. Heroku is also one of the part of it, where it helps all those, whether you are a front-end developer, whether you are a developer or a database architect. Definitely this platform really helps you a lot into exploring that part of the segment of this whole Salesforce platform, where you can do things from scratch, where you can write code into any particular model language in which you want, right? So as Om just added me as a new collaborator into this app. If I come back and sign in on my Heroku dashboard and I search for this app, probably it should be start visible here, right? So this is the app. I can open this app and I can see here what all resources are already being added. So, so based on my last discussion with Om, like one of the requests he was having is that, can we make this complete application dynamic? Currently, if I go and see this app, I guess, this all things are being coming from a static JSON data only, right? It would be very helpful if we can just connect this with Salesforce org as well, so that, anybody who just know Salesforce, who know how to, create records inside Salesforce, can easily manage all of the sessions, not only the sessions which Om has currently put into this JSON, but everything, which can be planned for a future upcoming months, which we are planning for Impact Salesforce Saturdays, right? So let me go and do this. You already heard about Salesforce Heroku Connect and how it can do a bidirectional sync with your Salesforce org. Now let's see this thing in action, and I will help you understand, how easy it is to configure your Heroku Connect inside your application just by point and click. All right, so I guess probably a bit of the network thing. I'm just gonna wait for a couple of seconds. But in the meantime, I can just quickly explain you. Here is a place where you can see all the add-ons listing up. All right, and then there are other tabs as well, which we'll talk in a few minutes. So here we are, and I can see currently my Heroku Connect needs an authentication. All right, so although I already got a user created for a Salesforce org, and I will just gonna quickly log into it. And once we're gonna log in, you'll be able to see that this is the place, the Salesforce org, where I'm managing all of my session details into a custom object. In fact, I have created a relationship with the contact record so that I can add all the speakers accordingly. So this is how my meetup sessions are looking in as a custom object. Now let's go ahead and map this into a Salesforce Heroku Connect. All right. So I will gonna go here. I will click on Manage Salesforce, and I will authorize my org. So here I can choose whether I need to connect with a sandbox or a production org, or even if I have custom domain, I can switch between them, right? And then I can also choose which particular API version I'm looking for. Since we are using just a custom object, not anything which is deprecated, so I can definitely go with the latest API version, right? So I'm just gonna go and click on authorize. And behind the scenes, what will gonna happen? It will just gonna do that same OAuth dance where it will gonna go authenticate with my org. There is already a connected app which is there, which will help me to decide, what all credential I want to give to it. And once that is done, now the connection is already being established, right? Now we'll go to the second tab, and like how, Om was explaining that how we can map our custom objects of standard objects. The best part is, you can decide which all objects you want to map, right? So as soon as I will gonna click on this create mapping, you'll start seeing all of your standard custom objects start visible here. Okay, if I just want to filter all the custom objects, I can just put _C in the search and my objects start coming up, right? So this is the custom object I was having in that org. Let's click on this. And another great thing is that, you can control this at a granular level. You can select the fields which you want to sync and the fields which you don't want to sync. But before that, I can decide whether I want to keep it just unidirectional, that is from Salesforce to database or my Postgres database, or I also want to keep it bidirectional, that whatever updates which are happening into my Postgres, that should also get synced to the Salesforce, right? For now, I guess we are just reading the session details. This is more of a read-only app, right? So we'll just keep it unidirectional. But another great feature here is that, I can set the poll frequency up to less than 10 minutes. Well, since this is a demo instance which we are using, we can only keep it up to 10 minutes. But as soon as if we go for a production plan, you can even keep it up to for 2 minutes as well, right? Or in fact, if you want to a lesser time updates, you can just select this accelerated polling. And what it will do, it will use the streaming APIs behind the scenes. Okay, so those who haven't heard about streaming APIs, basically consider that as a notification type of API which is available inside your Salesforce orgs, so that whenever there is any changes which are happening inside your org, especially into any particular object or records, you can send an invocation to external applications just by streaming API. We have, change data capture as an advanced version of it, which works with platform event. But streaming API came long time back, and it can be connected with any of the Comet D, integration. So, well, that's it. I just selected the unidirectional part. I even enabled accelerated polling so that I will get almost a near real-time updates. Now let's go ahead and select some of the fields. So definitely I want to get the picture URL, RSVP page, room, some more details. I will go ahead and select all the important fields which I'm looking forward for. And also the date, description of the things. I don't want the created by ID. Maybe I don't want the last modified and last view details. So I guess I'm good with this all. You can see there are some fields which are automatically get selected. Let's say if I want to index my name field, because I know this will gonna be unique, and I want to probably run optimized query on it. Here's an option available for me. I can just check this box, and then this field into my Postgres database has already got indexed, which means you can run your queries on it, considering optimization will automatically gonna taken care by the database itself, right? So yeah, we have done it. Let's quickly save them. Let's click continue. And now if you're gonna come back here, you see that it has started syncing my details with my Salesforce org, started polling them, and those all 4 records which we're seeing into a Salesforce org are now also available into my database rows as well, right? I can here itself can explore my data. Okay, I can see what is the value which is there into my Postgres DB and what is the value which is there into my Salesforce org. Not only this, you can just like just like Om explained, you can even expose your other data tables in a form of external objects back into your Salesforce org using Salesforce Connect. Well, that was a quick mapping which we did. Now, since if you want to make our application dynamic, this one, just a second. I guess this, can I move this bar here somewhere? Yeah, I can. All right. So yeah, this particular application, right? We want to make it dynamic. So there are 2 ways to do it. Either I can just expose my data in a form of API and consume them into my Lightning components, the Lightning web components to be very specific, or I can query to my Postgres database inside the Node.js application which was being built. And then from there itself, I can just write a simple query to my DB. I will get the data and I will pass this data back to my LWC components. For today's session, we'll keep it simple and we'll use the first approach. But to make our data API enabled, I don't need to write us any single line of code. How I can do this? I'm just gonna open the Postgres dashboard by clicking on that button, right? And it will open my database, especially the administration panel of my database, where I can see how many utilizations are being done so far, how many rows are there into my DB, what is the size, how many tables, and many more things, right? Even I can see whether I want to create a manual backup of my DB. Okay, from here I can do this. I can see my database credentials so that I can connect with this database. I remember into last session, you've seen that, how you can connect with your database using PageAdmin. So you can just get your credentials from here and then you can do this. But this is a very interesting part, which you probably would be seeing first time, is you can even create data clips for your database. Okay, so what data clip means is I can just click this. I can provide some name to this clip, maybe session details. All right. And then from here, I can easily explore my database. I can select what all fields are there. So for this time, I need to go with a meetup session object, right? Which is under Salesforce schema. So I can see all the fields coming up here. In fact, here I get an IntelliSense to write an SQL query. And remember what Om mentioned, this is not SQL, this is SQL. So you can, so imagine now you can write all the complex joins which you want to write. You can use all the complex formulas or the methods which are available as a part of PostgreSQL, and you can optimize your queries in much more detail. So well, for the demo purpose, I already have this query available with me on this other screen. I'm just gonna paste it down here. So I just created this, and since Om helped me to create some formula fields onto that object, so it is now much more easier. Otherwise, I could have just done an inner join with the contact object. while syncing the contact object as well and getting all of this speaker name details from there, right? So this is very simple. I just need to click save and run. Now, as soon as I'm gonna do this, you can see the database is now visible here into a tabular form. But the good part is I can even share this in a form of, JSON or CSV, so that I can just pass on this link to anyone and they can access this data, the real-time access. They can get the real-time access of this data just by URL. So imagine, all those common use cases where you just want to expose some data to someone, or maybe you want to just share this data to some analytics tool and you want to generate some charts or reports out of it. This is a very simple way to do that. So let's go ahead and let's just, keep this URL handy. Now, since we need to make some changes into this app, let's make the copy of this app into my local machine. So for this, what I will do, I will just jump to the deploy tab and scroll down, and here Heroku will help me that, how I can clone this into my local repository. So I'll just copy this command from here. I will open my terminal quickly. I guess it's already on one particular folder. Let's paste this command, which you just seen. All right. So as soon as I click on enter, it started cloning. I guess since I've already logged in, I got access to it. Otherwise, I probably need to do one more command, which is Heroku login, and log into my instance from terminal. Right. So this is being done. Let's move inside this particular folder here. The name is Impact Salesforce session, right? And let's open our Visual Studio Code into this particular folder. All right. So yeah, with this, automatically, it will gonna get open into VS Code. Here it goes, right? And this is how the code will look like for now. And this is the existing code which Om has already created, such an awesome app using the help of Trailhead, where we have Lightning components, where we have an app running on Node.js, right? So let's make some basic changes. The first thing we need to do is I will come to this data session service file, and I can see here that currently this JSON is hard coded, right? We are just getting details into a static form from here, right? Which is good for the initial part, right? But since now we want to make it dynamic, let's comment this part. Okay. And just to add, if you would be cloning this or creating this application from your from the Trailhead project, actually you'd already be doing this particular part where you will gonna copy something like this and some static URL which Salesforce has already given to you to get the session details and everything. But since this time we want to keep it dynamic, let's copy that URL which we just created from that data clip. Let's copy this. I want a JSON form, so I will copy the JSON URL. Let me quickly copy it here, and I will come back and I will just gonna replace this particular URL with that. All right. So yeah, this is being done, but there is one more change which we need to do. The reason is that the format in which my Lightning components, especially the web components, are expecting the data is a bit different than how it looks in Papertrail. So I will just gonna write a very simple JavaScript based method, and I will just convert that complete data which is coming up into a respective JSON format. So that I don't need to make a lot of changes into my Lightning web components, right? So this is being done. And since I already created this method, let's replace this here as well. So instead of result.data, I will just gonna call it as, result.values inside that method, which we just, that function which you just created. So what it will do, it will just get all the data. It will reiterate on all of them. It will create another array with the respective JSON format, which my LWC are expecting. Great. So this is done. Let me quickly save this file. And one more small change, which I will do. I remember, this is what Om shared with me, that I need to make change it to one another place, because last time we were using static data. So we're just keeping this method in this way. But now, since this would be coming from API, we need to make it, like a promiser based. So yeah, this is done here. I just uncommented and commented few of the part. And again, like I said, you're probably gonna seeing this section only if you're creating it from your LWC Trailhead module for operating for Heroku or open source. So yeah, this is done. Let me quickly save it once more. And just like what I do for all of my, uh, normal version control projects, I will just gonna go ahead and commit all these changes. So I will just say that, attached Salesforce. All right. You can see that those two files are changed. Let me clear this so that you can see it more better. Now, the last step I will gonna do is I will push all of these changes to my Heroku project. So for this, I will just gonna type git push Heroku master, and it will do the same process. Basically, as soon as I will push my code, it will start building my source. It will automatically detect that it's a Node.js application. So this is the build pack of Node.js, which is need to install. So it will install that build pack. It will install all the related binaries or frameworks, and then it will also install all the dependencies which are required. So it identified that it's an LWC application, right? So it will add other stuff as well, which are required to run your LWC applications, especially into an open source world or into a Heroku world. So let's wait for a couple of seconds. I guess in that time, our application will get built. And in the meantime, I will come back and let's have a quick look here. So I can see all the speakers are here are contact records. So firstly, I guess, let's see. Yeah, this is already done. The build has got created successfully. Now, if I go back and refresh my application, let's wait for a couple of more seconds. Just building it up. This was my application, right? And remember, there are many more advantages which you get if you're using Heroku from the developer experience perspective. Om has already shared a few of them about buttons and elements and add-ons and everything. I will also gonna show you one more thing which would be helpful for you to, from an add-on perspective. So let's just wait for a couple of seconds. I guess there are a lot of dev dependencies which were there. So Heroku is just trying to delete all of them and getting more space for my application to run properly. Okay. So that there should not be some extra thing. Well, it's done actually. Maybe I should not got caught. So see, another release has got created. I can see what all releases were there just by, typing releases, and it will start showing me, so here's the part where I have made changes, right? Where I have deployed a latest change into this application. So yeah, let's go back and refresh this app. See, probably you might be not be seeing any other change from the user perspective because we just, cloned everything which was there into that JSON. But uh, so Om also requested me that, can I take care of this last session? Can I participate with him in this last session and can give you some more guide around this Heroku architecture exam, since I'm already a certified person and I have also run enablement for them. So let's go ahead and make changes here. Okay, so I will make myself as a speaker for that. Okay, so I will just gonna go and remove this contact of Om and I will add mine and I will click on save. Now, as soon as I'm gonna save it, or since there is a formula fields which are already get updated, now if I'm gonna go and refresh this page, let's give it a second maybe. All right, maybe just a second. Let's run into my. Let's see if we are already seeing these changes on the DB right now. So yeah, it's coming up. Probably it's maybe some caching issue because LWC keep your things for better with a better cache. So yeah, here it starts showing up, right? It is showing me now as a presenter with all of my information, my Twitter handle, my title, details about the session and everything. All right. So yeah, this is interesting, right? I mean, with connecting now Salesforce, now I can easily manage, or in fact, not me as a developer, anyone who know or who is a business admin or who know how to just point and click and do things, he can go and update You can even create more sessions. As soon as you're gonna add them, the session will start coming up there. All right, and a lot of things can be done there itself. Another small thing which I will gonna do. Okay, so what I will do is I will go to app here into resources, and I will add one more add-on. Okay, this will be Cloud Cube. So remember how Om shared with all of you that how you can add more add-ons and you can leverage this pre-built services which are created by third parties. Okay, and there is a different type of plans which are available for it. You can go for an enterprise plan, you can go for a business plan, a startup plan, or anything. The best part is, as a developer, you can just need to focus on your business logic of that application. As all things can be taken by the third party. And irrespective app exchange, elements are specially being designed for developers, okay, so that they can enhance their application services. They don't need to, do a, so what we did, we just added an add-on where we can manage S3 buckets just by point and click. You don't need to, do a lot of configurations going and buying it explicitly from AWS or other place. This is a very simple way to create an S3 bucket. I just added this add-on, and if I open this, I will also get all the details about my S3 bucket, right? So this is there. Now, since I don't want to, keep the URLs coming up from Twitter, maybe I want to keep it a local copy of myself because I want to change the picture of mine. This is a pretty old picture. So let's go and upload the files. Okay, I'll upload actually, let's just upload mine only for now because the limited time. So I'll just upload this. All right. And then I will move this to a public folder so that anybody can access it. And I can even access it as a public URL. Okay. So I will just gonna move it. And now you can see a public URL has got created for me. We're just gonna open this, and I guess the name was Durgesh. Let me just copy the name. Right, so this is the new photo of mine. I'm just gonna go back into my Salesforce org. I will go into this contact record. All right, and I will come and make this change into this picture URL. Okay, so this is coming up from Twitter. I just want to change this. And one more thing I want to change is I will go to that particular session. All right, and I will also gonna update details so that I will also gonna share about some of the architecture stuff as well with you. So I'll just say architecture discussion and preparation. Okay, architecture and prepare for Salesforce certified. This one, right? So I'm just gonna change the title. I will save this. Now let's go back, and you'll see that in few seconds this data will get updated. I will go and refresh my application now. All right, so you can see the change. The name has got updated. My image has got updated. And this time, instead of bringing it from Twitter, I'm actually using an S3 bucket. And I configured S3 bucket just in 2 minutes for all of you, right? And in the meantime, I was also explaining a lot of stuff. So you can also do an experience and leverage the capabilities of this Heroku and this developer experience, and can definitely speed up your development process, especially if you're building for around this modern frameworks, whether it's Node.js, Java, PHP, Python, and any other language. I guess Om has already shared about the build packs which are available. There are more than 2,500 plus build packs which are there. Whether you're looking for something like a React for .NET Core, for any particular framework which are being commonly used, you're probably gonna get a hands to it. Before wrapping up, just a quick introduction about an academy program which I'm running, and probably you all can take part into it. So this is the Heroku Academy. I was initially planning just to introduce to you in my last session. That would be in our last session, I would say, which is happening on 29th. But just to share a glimpse, this Heroku Academy is already being running. This is a part of like a 9-session series, which is break into 2 parts. One is around the hands-on workshop. The second is around architect designer preparation, which Om has already shared with you. And we have already done the hands-on workshop so far. But and in September first week, we are starting with our architect journey workshop as well. So if you're interested to learn more about, if you're planning to go for this Heroku architect certification, you can definitely go and join this workshop. I will share the registration links and everything with you on the chat window. But in this, there is an academy overview where you can see what all I am covering. Here is a link for it. You can just open the, so once you're going to get the access to the academy overview, you'll be able to see this QR code. These links all are clickable into that PDF. In fact, there is also academy guide. If I show this academy guide, it is a one-stop doc for everything, where you can see what all documents you need to refer for. Here are all the recordings of my previous session, and they are available for all of you. But I would recommend, if you're working with any of the Salesforce partners, please do sign up with your Salesforce or your official email address of your respective company, because that will help me to track, things. But here are some of the exercises if you want to learn it on your own, if you want to practice around Heroku and want to, do a similar demos, which I just did in front of you. So there is all of details which are available here. And just like I said, into this next couple of weeks, we'll be running some more things. Let me quickly jump to that slide itself instead of taking too much time of yours. Yeah, so here it is. From September 1st, we are starting another, part of this particular Heroku Academy where I will, run some very special sessions around how you can prepare for the certification, how you can go and appear for it, how you can, architect complex solutions using Heroku platform, whether it's about Heroku Enterprise, cross-cloud connections, about security, around private space, and data services and everything, and this is the whole breakdown of this. And everything this is available into that link already. Okay, so let me share that details with you all. I will post this into the chat window so that you can access it. Let's see how I can access the chat window. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so these are all the important links which I already shared with you on the chat window. You can access them. And with this, thank you from my side. I will hand it over back to the team. And let's jump to the Q&A part if you have any other open questions for us. Om, please let me know if I have missed anything or if you want to cover anything else.
Thank you very much for a cool demo, and of course a very lovely coming academic Heroku academic sessions. It will be helpful for many who is looking for explore more about the Heroku learning. Yeah, thank you. And let me check quickly if we have some question in chat window. Sachin, can you check the sheet as well? We have shared a key document earlier for Q&A. And anyone, you have any question, basic or any type of advanced, please put the question in chat window and we will cover all. Okay, very nice. Ketan is asking difference between Salesforce and Heroku Connect. I think question is Salesforce Connect and Heroku Connect, right, Ketan? Yes. So the guest, please dip something.
Great. Okay. So yeah, see, so these are two different integration platforms or integration engines which are available for you to leverage. Okay. Let me firstly cover Salesforce Connect. Salesforce Connect is something which can be used to integrate with any external database or external data service which is OData compliant. Okay. You don't need to have Heroku if you just want to use Salesforce Connect. It can connect with any of your on-prem database, your data services which are running in any other cloud or any other platform, whether it's Oracle, SAP, whatever it is. If you can make it OData compliant, or if you can put a OData connector in front of it, you can bring that data in a form of proxy inside your Salesforce org. And what does this mean is, have you heard, you might have heard about external objects, right? Which gives you very similar experience like your standard and custom objects. But the best part is it is not utilizing your Salesforce, data usage. So consider those scenarios where I want to bring my order related data from my SAP, whether I want to bring, a lot of interactions which my application is having on the Heroku platform. But I just want to, see that data inside my Salesforce org. I don't want to, take, I don't want to keep a copy of that data into my org. In this way, I can go ahead and do that. Right. So that is quick understanding about Salesforce Connect. Now talking about Heroku Connect, I guess you have seen that in the demo that it's a bidirectional sync which is available between Salesforce and Heroku. But keep in mind, it will replicate your data in both the places. Now the advantage of this is, remember we have seen that, I can now run my custom applications with my data which is already there into my Salesforce org. I can even run this for running my custom processes, for running a very complex algorithm, or maybe to creating a very high volume based application, which will gonna be having a lot of users. I don't know. I don't want to give license to all of them. So into all of those B2C or B2B2C type of scenarios, a combination of Heroku Connect and Salesforce can be a great usage. And since Heroku Connect help you to make your Postgres database OData compliant, you can go and plug it back into your Salesforce org using the power of Salesforce Connect and the OData ready solution by Heroku Connect. Right. So I hope you understand the basic difference between both of them. Heroku Connect is the engine which replicates data between your org and the Postgres DB and help you to expose your data from your Salesforce org to other places. On the other hand, Salesforce Connect is to bring data back inside Salesforce just for, so yes, you can do edit and write both with Salesforce Connect, but the best part is you'll not be utilizing your Salesforce data usage for it. So all those scenarios where you have TBs of data sitting outside, you just want to query or access them inside Salesforce in the same similar fashion, Salesforce Connect is the option for it. Okay. Probably I will keep the next questions a bit smaller. Answers a bit smaller, my bad. So what is the difference between Velocity and Heroku? See, Velocity is a recently acquired product of by us, but it's a complete solution specially designed for a lot of different verticals, especially comms and fins and telecommunications and all, right? So it has a lot of things which is pre-packaged. And yes, even Velocity behind the scenes using a lot of things on Heroku platform itself. But consider Heroku as a managed PaaS platform, which can be used for anything, So Velocity is more of a product which you're getting, or a solution as a service available for you, which can be enhanced inside the platform itself. But Heroku is giving you open space to design your application right from scratch, without worrying about what is going to be about the infrastructure, how to manage the security, how to manage the respective frameworks. Rest all things will going to take care by us. You just need to focus on your code, and that's how you can build your modern applications. What is the next question? Can we have any other database to connect into Heroku other than Postgres? Well, let me add, I guess probably, we had a very limited time. We were not able to cover that, but there are 3 different type of data services which Heroku provides. There is Postgres DB, which is more for relational database, and there is Redis, which is nowadays most loved database, especially if you are running something for in-memory type of processes, or when you're doing job queuing and other stuff. And there is also Kafka, which we have available in a form of service, which is more for your event streaming type of applications, or any application which is microservices driven, having event driven architecture to it and everything. So you can have these 3 which are completely being managed and supported by us, Salesforce only. But not only this, you seen the add-ons page, right? Let me actually quickly show you. So if you're going to go back into your add-ons page, or the elements.heroku.com, which Om shared with all of you. And if you jump on the add-ons section, you just need to click on data stores, and you'll see a variety of data services which are available by our ecosystem partners. There is MongoDB available. There is Redis available as a third-party service. There is MySQL if you are a MySQL fan. Even there are things like Cassandra, GraphDB, and many more things. So it's up to you how you want to design it. And sometimes even you get multiple options for the same type of database. So you can choose between, them, their type of serviceability and everything, and you can plug them into your application. All right. Yeah. So what is the next question? Can someone read out the question to me?
Yeah, hi Durgesh. The next question
Yeah.
is, I see overlaps between MuleSoft and Heroku. Can you please
Uh-huh.
highlight some differences?
Awesome question. And we usually do hear this question many other times. So when we talk about, MuleSoft, it's a it's a AnyPoint Connect, and it's an integration platform which is available for you. But what if you also want to run your applications as well? What if you want to run, a complex processes which need to be connected with a lot of different clouds, and also need to have a platform where you can host those services. So for all of these scenarios, Heroku is a better place. So a quick comparison between them, if I just have something for integration part only, where I need to connect with a lot of different enterprise applications or enterprise platform, probably I will go with MuleSoft. But if I want to run this application on a platform, whether it's a web-based application, it's a mobile backend as a service, or maybe it's a process, which will be connecting with a point-to-point integration only, probably Heroku will be a better solution for it, because I can design it based on the open language which I want to use. I can choose between Node.js, Java, or anything. I can plug in this respective add-ons which are available. Like, yeah, we have seen the example of how we can manage S3 bucket very easily. There are many more add-ons, and they are categorized here in the screen, as you can see, like Elasticsearch. You can't do Elasticsearch on a MuleSoft, right? But if you want to build a search-based application which can be even run inside your Salesforce, you can expose that in the form of Canvas applications and can access it here, right? So that's a major difference between both of them. Even there are a lot of customers which are using both of them together as well. Yeah.
All right. We have one more question.
Mhm.
To try out the latest features, can we ask Salesforce to enable pilot features in our or it is for partners only?
Well, there is a process for it, because definitely, if you're going for a pilot thing, you need to part of a partner, and that makes them easy because there is already NDA between a partner and Salesforce. But not only this, many times Salesforce do come up with pilot programs for developers as well, and they usually announce it on the Trailblazer platform or on the respective social media channels. But yeah, I mean, there are many times where we involve developers directly rather than going via the route of the partners. But at all of these options, you definitely need to have a contract with Salesforce, because you are using something like a pilot service, which is probably gonna be going with the whole development life cycle of itself. So the short answer is it is possible for developers as well, but for respective products there are respective ways to go for it, and usually we do announce it on the public platforms itself.
Okay. Thank you so much, Durgesh and Om, for such an amazing session and awesome demos. So, Om, you would like to share your screen?
Sure. Thank you very much. And thank you, Durgesh. And meanwhile, any question you can feel free to ask. We'll also take. So yeah, we'll done with the demo. And yes, time to do some hands-on by self. So here is some resources for you. Go ahead and explore about the Heroku Connect with this quick start project on Trailhead. And you can see develop an app which will integrate with Salesforce. So you can go ahead, take the screenshots and explore this for more learning. And we have covered the Q&A, but please feel free to text the question and we will have quiz very soon. But meanwhile, let's join our next session next Saturday. And this session will be primarily led by Durgesh, and he will cover lots of things or the Heroku architecture thing, lots of things from the scene, behind the scene, because we have discussed functionality and technical stuffs, but how the architecture things are happening, how internal things are happening on Heroku. So don't miss this session. Let's join us next Saturday again at the same time. Thank you very much. And now, yeah, Vishal or Sachin, please go ahead with the quiz part. That's our also fun and learn part.
All right. Thank you so much, Om, for such an amazing
Thank
information.
you.
All right. So Sachin, can we move ahead with the quiz?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Durgesh and Om for such a wonderful session and demo. So that's very cool demo. Thank you very much again. Let me share my screen and we will
Thank you,
start the
team, for
quiz.
having us. You are sharing a screen, Sachin?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, Sachin, we can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we can see. Awesome.
So guys, you can go www.kahoot.it and this is the game pin 459858.
Okay, so last day, someone from you have asked one question in our quiz set that please increase the number of swags. So good news is that today first winner will receive the 12-year book as announced from earlier, and second and third winner will also receive something surprise. Okay, so today we will have three swags. So please go ahead and let.
That's very cool, Om. Thanks for that winner sponsorship. Guys, please put proper name. Don't put DDVK. Please put your proper name.
Yes, you can remove, quit and rejoin. That help our organizer to identify you. So you can rejoin the game.
Yes.
Who is BK?
Yes. I don't know. Yes. Who is VK? Please change your name.
We can just need to refresh your browser and it will automatically remove from game. Then join again.
Yes.
BK, can you please rejoin it?
We have 26 participants. So let me know if anybody facing any issue. I think we can start because we have 25 participants and 19 is already joined. So
Just a minute, Sachin. In the chat window, I can see Seva Prasad is facing issues. Shiva Prasad, have you joined it?
Yes, he has joined. Shiva
Okay.
Prasad.
Sachin, you can
So,
proceed now.
yeah. Okay. Here is the first question is coming for the Heroku session 3. Bundle of source codes combined with a tiny set of instructions that allow you to automatically configure and deploy. So the options are Connected App, Heroku Buttons, Salesforce Connect, Heroku Connect. Yeah. Oh, only 6 people has given the correct answer. Let's see who is on the race. Krishan Kumar, following with Suraj and Ketan. Okay, here is the next question. Deploys your code from a particular repository with a simple click. Heroku Buttons, Heroku Build Packs, OData 2.0, and REST data, JSON data. Yes. 12 people gave the correct answer. Only 4 people gave the correct answer. Let's see who is leading. Shiva Prasad is moving. Krishna is leading. Use blank to easily allow others to preview your app. Heroku Build Pack, Heroku Buttons, Heroku Connect, Outbound API. What you said, Om? People give all people give the correct answer for this question. Only 4 people gave the correct answer for this question. Let's move ahead. Let's see who is. Yeah, Krishna Kumar is leading, and Suraj P and Aditya is following with him. Here is the next question. Set of easily modifiable script that install dependency and compile your source code. Heroku Build Pack, Heroku Marketplace, Heroku add-ons, and none of above. We got 18 answers, 4 seconds left. Yes, here we go. 11 people give the correct answer. That's very cool. Let's see who is leading. Krishna Kumar is on the top from the starting. Aditya and Shiva Prasad is following with him. We provide 8 officially supported and curated blank for particular languages, buttons, build pack, connect, add-ons. Six people give the correct answer. Build packs is the correct answer of this question. Let's see. Krishna is leading. So good going, Krishna. Aditya and Saurabh Sukla also following with him. Add-ons are installed onto application by using the Wirefile Heroku dashboard on the CLI, Heroku dashboard only, CLI only. 14 people give the correct answer. Correct, Heroku dashboard on the CLI. Cool. I think most of the people has focused on demo. Let's see. Oh, Aditya is leading now. Great, good going, Aditya. Following with Saurabh and Krishan. Here is the next question. What creates the maintains a schema inside postage of a Salesforce org? Heroku Connect, Heroku Buttons, Salesforce Platform Event, Salesforce Connect. 16 people already got the answer, that one. 18 people gave the answer. Now let's see what is the answer of this question. Heroku Connect is the answer and 9 people gave the correct answer of that question. That's very cool. Let's see who is leading. Aditya now is leading, following with Saurabh Shukla and Krishan Kumar. Great, Aditya. Help exposing the Heroku postage data to Salesforce Connect. Heroku add-ons, Heroku Connect, Build Pack, and Pass. Eleven people give the correct answer, and the answer is Heroku Connect. Cool. Let's see who is leading now. Saurabh Shukla is leading now, following with Aditya and Krishan Kumar. Good going, Saurabh. Here is the last question. Data sync does not count against Salesforce API limit. Heroku add-ons, HTTP, Heroku Connect, and CTI. I think Durgesh has explained this in demo as well. Oh, 12 people give the correct answer of this question. Good. Let's see who is the winner. On the third position, we have Krishan Kumar. On the second position, we have Saurabh Shukla. And the first position, we have Aditya. Congratulations, all the participants and winners. And I would like to thank everyone for joining this session. Vishal, can you please take email IDs of those candidates?
Yeah, sure. So all of the 3 winners, can you please share me your email address? And congratulations to all of the winners. Yeah, Om, you can carry it.
Yeah, so please go ahead. Yeah, congratulations, guys. Please share your address with the organizers. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Vishal, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Durgesh and Om, for this wonderful session and demo. And guys, please join our next session on Heroku, that is on 29th of August, next Saturday. And do post with whatever the pictures you have taken today on Twitter and tag Om, Durgesh and New Delhi SFDC group with the hashtag Impact Salesforce Saturday.
Awesome. So yeah, before signing out, I guess, thanks everyone for joining. This was really very interesting session. I hope you have learned something. If you are more interested, you can even definitely go for Heroku Academy learnings that is there. Please do join our next session. It would be very interesting to talk about what are different architecture patterns we are seeing with Heroku, how customers are using it. In fact, if you are planning to go for that Heroku architect this Heroku architect designer cert, what are the things you need to keep in mind? And before just signing off, happy Ganesh Chaturthi to everyone. I hope you are celebrating this festival with your family, not going out and staying safe, and helping everyone to fight this pandemic.
Yeah, thanks, Durgesh.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Durgesh and Om,
Bye-bye.
for such an awesome session. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you, Durgesh. Bye.